Hello, this is Shaika, also known as Shy.
And this is Christine, also known as Schmo.
And we are Flawless
Inspiration.
Today our discussion is about, how do I put this?
I'm just dealing maybe with like insecurities for women nowadays, right?
Dealing with insecurities and being careful to not put your insecurities on people that are close to you, especially your children. And also trying not to create situations within like your children so that way they won't be self-conscious within themselves based on things that you may say to them and so forth.
Yeah. So I posted a picture yesterday and I'm becoming a little more accepting of my body, I guess you could say. So I've always been curvy. And everyone's like, well, curvy's in, but it wasn't always in, or maybe it was always in, but I felt insecure about it.
Well, no, I think it's society. What society shows and projects is a lot of things that we adopt. So, because of the way society shows, and I'm talking about from an aspect of what they show on television and stuff, because unfortunately, because a lot of us we watch television. With that being said, our perception on how people that ideal and accepted are looked at, are the image of how you're supposed to look and what beauty is based on what they show on TV or in magazines and such.
Exactly.
So it technically is acceptings, but it depends on perspective.
Absolutely. So when I was younger, I've talked about this in other videos, actually with Damali.
Yeah, Damali's my sister, by the way.
Yeah, so I remember being younger. There's one specific moment that really stands out in my mind. I was like in 5th grade. And I remember ever since I was young, I was very curvy. Even in 5th grade. Like I always had like a butt and curves. And I think it's like the German in me too. You know, Germans are made kind of thicker. So I just remember going to this school and the girls not talking to me. This is 5th grade. Not talking to me and isolating themselves from me. And I just remember specifically so vividly being in the back of the classroom and feeling like sad. But I remember 2 guys just really, boys, they were boys, just talking to me. And I think about it, and that was like my daughter's age. And that's where my insecurity started, right? 5th grade, not loving myself. And from that moment on, just being insecure. And, you know, I have to honestly say throughout my life, my friends, there was definitely friends that made me feel confident about myself. You know what I mean? Like, my friends just would tell me I'm beautiful or, like, loved my shape.
Yes.
But I think it was my experiences that really just kind of...
That is what kind of stood. The negative, unfortunately, stuck and allowed you to form an opinion about yourself, unfortunately.
Absolutely. And then society, TV, media, social media, all of that came into play and it didn't help me, right? Here I am like this thicker white girl with a big booty and big hips, and you know I'm not big chested, and that wasn't really in. You know what I mean? Like not for nothing, but the typical back then, or there's not really a standard type of female or how you should look, but I don't know. I was gonna stereotype a white woman and what she looks like, but that wasn't gonna be right. But back then, that's what it was. We were being stereotyped on how we should look, and I wasn't accepted for how I looked.
Yeah, the skin.
Because I didn't have
figure.
Exactly. I didn't have bigger breasts, and I had this big butt, and yeah. So I'm really starting to just come into my own at an older age, and just really becoming more accepting of like my body, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And she helps me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure necessarily if I had like as much to the intensity as Christina expressed, but I feel like I always was very conscious of people always like looking like how could I put this? Because I was always very confident in my body, to be honest. I wear what I wanted to wear. That kind of started more so during high school age or whatever. But when I remember when I was younger, like I was very always shapely. I used to look older than my true age and stuff. And I remember like older men, and I would know that they're older men. They're like disgusting, trying to talk to me and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh. You know what I mean? So
that can make you feel
some type of way for sure. I mean, I'm thankful that my mom, she always was very very vocal about me paying attention to my surroundings and knowing my body and the way I carry myself and stuff like that. So I'm very thankful that she made me very cognizant to be, because that helped me form who I am as far as being confident in the skin that I'm in. But you know, because even for my mom, she used to tell me stories about how she used to not like showing her butt and stuff, because I mean I do have a big butt, so I get that from my mom and stuff, and she didn't really embrace it because of her being looked at like more of a sexual object than just a person and an individual, you know what I mean? You know, crazy, and it's just like, you know, it's crazy how like growing up and stuff, like true experiences form that. You know, I remember I didn't care for it and stuff, but I know that older guys would like look at me and stuff like that, and it's because of the way I looked.
And it probably made you feel like kind of,
it was just like
disgusting.
Icky, like, yeah. But I do remember that I really like, especially when it came from high school on, like I wore what I wanted to wear. I was very confident. You could hoot and holler and do what you gotta do. I don't care. I'm blocking that out. I'm very secure in the skin that I'm in, you know. But I feel like what helped me was my mom, not, instead of her maybe like, oh my God, you need to cover up and you need to, like, as if I was the problem. She just taught me to pay attention and be strong and who I am. I'm not going to put up with anything. And also, you know, obviously be mindful of my surroundings. You know what I mean? So obviously I'm going to use my common sense to say, depending on where I'm going, I know I shouldn't dress a certain way or whatever. But if I do dress a way in an environment that I feel comfortable with, then I know how to carry myself as an individual too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like the insecurity for me particularly was more so with hair. You know what I mean? And honestly, probably be the skin, you know, my skin, being black person, you know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm fair skinned or whatever, but, you know, at the end of the day, I'm black. So that would make me feel some type of way, like not being accepted, like people wouldn't like me or a boy wouldn't like me because I'm black, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's crazy, but I would think that way, you know, especially if the guy was something other than a black guy, you know what I mean? I would feel some type of way, you know, and from a very young age, my mom relaxed my hair or whatever, but I wanted that because I thought that was the ideal look of, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I thought that was the ideal look, you know, and I remember, you know, people would always ask me, how is your real texture, Shy, whatever, and I would say, oh, it's similar to this, and it's like, no, actually not. Like, I'm just now at 30-something years old knowing what my hair texture is like. I would never, ever do this, like even me wearing this with my two little twists, so you know, I would never, you know.
So dope.
Thank you, but I never thought that. Like I really didn't think that would make me pretty. I thought that what made me pretty was the long hair, the straight hair, because that's mostly, you know, especially, you know, I've always I worked in a salon when I was younger or whatever, but I've always liked different hair and stuff like that. But I remember, especially when I started working in a corporate environment, like, I remember, like, there was one time that I went for a job interview, and I had braids in my hair, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was just braids it was curly ends, so my hair was curly, but it was like a bright red color, right?
Oh my God, that's so crazy. That vision just came in my head before you said that. That's weird.
Oh, wow. So I went to an interview, and I sat there. To me, it was a very well interview. I'm very professional. I know how to carry myself, right? And I remember, like, the recruiter calling me and was, like, saying such, like, mean things about me as an individual, you know?
What did they say?
It was just, like, you know, like, basically, like, I wasn't, like, I had no class in a sense. Like, it was, I remember it was, like, it was, like, a bank in Stamford, Connecticut, you know? And I remember, and I felt like, oh, my God, like, was it my hair? What did I do? And at the time, I already worked for a bank, so to me it wasn't anything, you know, crazy. I had worked for a bank already, you know, and then I just felt like, oh my God, like, and then, you know, like, even now sometimes people be like, oh my God, your hair, you know, what made you do that and stuff, and it's just like, because I like to be different, What does my hair have anything to do with how I do my job, though? You know what I mean? Like, what does my hair legit have anything to do with my job? Nothing at all. I mean, as long as I'm not dirty and stinky and smelly, to me, I don't think that should be an issue. You know what I mean? You know, but that right there, that situation as far as that interview, though, that made me feel so terrible. Like, then I had a complex of ever putting braids in my hair, going into a corporate environment. I mean, I mean, honestly, from all the time that we've been friends, have you ever seen me other than recently that you've seen me in braids and such?
No.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know, meanwhile, this is naturally an African thing, and not to say that I'm from Africa, but you know what I mean. Like, this is more black people are supposed to embrace your hair texture. Braids, it helps for your hair texture to kind of protect it. You know what I mean, in certain times and stuff like that. You know, like when it gets unruly and stuff, it's easy to just have braids in. You know, and I'm a black person. I don't even want to embrace what naturally comes from the ancestors, from my ancestors, because I'm not even trying to connect with who I am as a person. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like runs deep, you know?
You're not trying to connect who you are as an individual to satisfy another person.
Right.
That's crazy.
Because I didn't.
But that's how we all are to an extent.
Right. It's so crazy.
With all our we're only insecure because we're so afraid of being accepted by others.
Of not being accepted by others.
Yeah,
that we're so focused on basically becoming who they think that we should be.
That's crazy.
Right? So we have to be mindful of us as adults are doing that. Do we really want to do that to our children, right?
No, and I was reading this, like I was telling you before, I read this really good article, and I don't want to quote it because I don't want to, like, be incorrect about it, but it basically said, like, you shouldn't point out, like, your child's body parts, like, oh, if maybe, you know, your child might be getting a little heavier, or maybe your child may be a little skinny. Like, you shouldn't point that out to them because they'll be more conscious of it. So if your child has, like, a bigger butt, you won't want to say, oh, look at your butt, because
they can't help that.
Yeah, they can't help that. Even if you're giving them a compliment, that article said you shouldn't do that. You should just let it be, because you're bringing more awareness to their butt.
No,
you know what I mean?
And it's funny that you said that, because I was like, oh my God, sometimes I do that to my son.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God, I need to check that, because at the end of the day, that does resonate with me, because honestly, all my life people have a thing about my butt. Like, you know, oh my God, it's so huge. Oh my goodness. I mean, thankfully I'm secure that I don't mind it now. But, you know what I mean? Like, it could either go negative or positive.
Yeah.
And him as being his own individual, I don't want him to be self-conscious about his body, especially when he's naturally born this way. And he can't change it. So why am I pointing out something that we can't change?
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's even, like, I'll give an example, because I remember when I was younger, I used to have the way I used to walk, I was very pigeon-toed. So I used to walk, like, really kind of messed up. That, thank God, through my parents and my family members, like my aunts and stuff like that, being always instilling to me to be conscious of the way I walk and stuff. It was, like, so bad that people used to think that I was promiscuous when I had no idea. Because you know, having a gap, they were like, oh, you have a gap.
Yeah.
So I remember, so people would associate, just because the way I walked and the way I dressed and stuff, they would think that I was promiscuous, and I totally wasn't. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, like that. I remember that specifically, like, but that's something that I could have changed. Thank God. You know, I mean, honestly, yeah, when I was younger, I used to be like, oh my God, like, why are they trying to tell me how to walk? You know, but it was for my betterment. But they never said anything necessarily about my butt. It was my walk. I can change my walk and the way I step to a certain extent. But I can't change my body part.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I just wanted to give that example, because that specifically, I remember, especially when I was younger, I used to feel so ashamed because people you'd think that I was like very like promiscuous when I had no idea what anything about sex. You know?
It's crazy how, like, society or other people can shift your mindset into something completely different.
Right?
Yeah, like, the world in general can just make you not love yourself.
Right.
Yeah, like, not accept yourself. I saw one of my cousins yesterday posted something, and you know, she's beautiful, and she had posted something about she's slim, but slim is beautiful.
It's beautiful, yep.
And she was saying that she has a problem basically with her being slim, and she doesn't like her hair because her hair, you know, is kinky, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's curly. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you are beautiful. And I wasn't just saying that, like, hey, babe, I love you. But I wasn't just saying that, like, she's beautiful. Like, you are beautiful. Like, and I know why she feels that way, because she goes on the computer and she just turns on the news or turns on the TV, and in any given program, like, we just glorify like a Kardashian, like a big butt. Like, no, like, we have to glorify who we are.
What's in here?
Yeah, like, stop glorifying these big big butts are beautiful. Like, we have big butts.
Yeah, and we embrace
but
it.
that's us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because you don't have a big butt does not mean that you're not beautiful.
Thank
but
you.
It's so sad though, because these women, not my cousin, but women in general, especially these women that are famous, feel such the pressure to put these butt injections in, to get all these, you know, plastic surgeries, and to get breasts done, and to get their stomachs done. They just feel so like, I wonder how they're gonna look like when they're old. And I'm not judging them. I used to judge them. I'm gonna be 100% honest with them. But when you get older and you try, if you try to understand somebody rather than judge them,
yes, understand
be more
them.
understanding.
Yes.
Like, that's an insecurity. Like, if I want to go get my butt done, there's an insecurity within me. I don't like my butt. Obviously, I want to get my butt done, and it's just so sad to me that they feel such pressure to want to alter their body like that just to fit into the world,
and for people to like them and get more likes and get people more views.
Yeah,
And
that's all it's about.
That's all it's about.
Because then after they get these butt injections, they're putting these pictures up of their butts. So it's just so sad that women feel the pressure and the need to do that. You know what I mean? Like, that really saddens me.
It really is sad. It's so
and
sad.
And no judgment. Like, if you got butt injections or breast implants or whatever, like, no judgment, because I understand, like, that insecurity or the pressure that you may feel. You know what I mean?
I remember when I was younger, I used to have a complex of not having boobs.
Me too. I told me, because we kind of have,
yeah, we had the same shape. We had the small on top and very thick on the bottom. You know,
and I felt very insecure about my breasts, and I was like, I want breast implants. And then I didn't get breast implants, right? I'm going to be 100% authentic. I didn't want to get breast implants because of Jonathan, my son, and I'm like, well, my son's gonna look at me differently, so I'll just wait to get breast implants until he's older. But now it's like, so what? I have small itty bitties, like what?
Exactly.
So what? Like, whatever, like itty bitty boo boo boo.
Exactly.
Like, whatever. Like, I'll find a man. Like, not I'll find a man. When a man finds me and he loves me, he's gonna love me for me, and he's gonna love my little itty bitty.
Yes, exactly.
Just like Hun loves her little itty bitty.
He does. I ask him, I'm like, what do you think or whatever? He's like, just leave your little. I love them. Like, they're just fine. I'm like, thank you.
I love him.
You know, I mean, you gotta accept people for who they are and don't make them feel anything less than. Just so much body image issues going on.
And honestly, Shy, I think it really originates from your upbringing in a sense.
It is.
You have to just keep putting it in our children, and not that our mothers didn't do a good job, because your mother did a wonderful job, and not that my mom didn't do a good job, but maybe my mom didn't know that I needed to hear whatever I needed to hear.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
she didn't know, and I no judgment, because my mom is the bomb.
She's bomb.
She made me who I am.
And it's like, just because they're good, like, say for instance, my mom, she may have been good in that aspect, but there's other things that she could have improved on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna be perfect.
No one's gonna be perfect.
You just
There's
try
no
your
perfect
best.
mom.
There's no perfect parent. But just don't judge your children, man. Just be mindful of what you say about them, what you don't say about them, and that's just because it does hurt people to the core. And sometimes you'll say things about your child, and you think that they have no idea that you said some negative things about them, and it does. Like, the information travels that you have no realization of how that information could travel. Just be mindful, because it's like so like self-worth damaging to know that I remember sometimes, I mean, I love my dad. I love him. God rest his soul. I love him so much. But I remember internalizing things that he used to say to me as a child. Not that he was like he never like say for instance, like I remember one time he was like, oh my god, you kids are so like hard, like oh my god, like you guys are so like bad in a sense, like oh my god, you gave me so much challenges. And while that may have been true to a certain extent, it wasn't to the point that I thought that was necessary to say, especially considering, you know, there's so many children out there that were doing a lot worse, that I knew were doing worse, but then you're looking at me like, oh my god, I'm so terrible. Like, okay, well, why? Can we get to the root of why I'm acting this way? Can we talk about that? You know what I'm saying? Can we talk about that? You know what I mean? You're not even giving me the opportunity for me to speak, to tell you why, so that way we can be on the same page. You know what I mean? And I remember that used to hurt me. It's just like, have trust and faith in me. You know, have trust and faith that you did your job and I'm doing my best as a child. And even if I don't listen to you, or I'm going to do stuff that's wrong, you've done the same. Like, not even that you're gonna be pointing the finger back, but I'm just saying, have some compassion to say, you know what, I was in that shoe. Is it really that bad?
Yeah.
Is it really that bad? And we want our children to do everything that we say so much that we realize that we're almost, sometimes we could tarnish that relationship because you're too busy trying to control everything about what the kids are doing.
Yeah.
You know, let them be who they are.
Yeah.
Right?
That's important, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And that goes into a thought of mine, like, we always try to control what we want our children to be rather than let them be who they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think so many parents I want my child to do this, and that. Why don't you just let your child be who they want to be? If they want to color outside the lines, let them color outside the lines. Like, there's no rules to me. Like, don't make them color inside the lines. That doesn't make them perfect. Like,
the thing is, no one's perfect.
Exactly.
No one at all, ever.
But the problem is that we all think that we have to live up to what other people perceive us as.
Yes.
That's the problem with us, because I've done it. So that's why I could speak this. Like, we got to stop it, and that goes with us, like, who we are as a whole, like, not necessarily inside but outside.
Yeah.
You know, like, I was always so scared to post pictures because of my hips or my this or my that. I was always so scared to do this whole YouTube thing because I'm like, well, what are people gonna say about me?
Yeah. What are they gonna think about how my mind works and stuff like that?
Or how I look. Yeah.
Right,
or how I look. But none of that, like, as I've said in the past, and how I will always continue to say, is that people will always have their opinions.
Yes. And
you know what I mean? And, like, people are going to think what they want to think.
They could think
and they're going to think my hips are going to be too big. And
you shouldn't wear this, and you shouldn't wear that. And you should need to act like this, and you should be like this, and do more of this. And
so, women, especially you women out there, we're all beautiful. Doesn't matter.
You sure are.
How you look externally. I think the most important thing is who you are as an individual inside.
And just acknowledge who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure you are all amazingly beautiful inside, and that's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop focusing on what, like, I don't want to necessarily use our Kardashian because I don't really follow them. Like, but we got to stop focusing on what this one has and what that one has.
Yes.
We need to focus on what we
have.
are trying to do and what we have. I think that's where we start self-doubting ourselves, is when we compare ourselves.
Yes, yeah, a lot of comparison. You can't. I will never be Christine. Christine will never be me. Absolutely not ever in this whole world. But, you know what I mean? I see the good attributes in her. You know what I mean? I learn from her. Her energy is amazing. I love being around her. She teaches me so much.
Thank you.
It's like the sharing of the good energy. The sharing of the good energy is what I like. I don't, you know, like, we can have actual honest conversation. If I do something, you'll tell me. Vice versa. We'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We'll get through it some way. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Authenticity.
Yeah.
I want somebody that's an authentic friend that's going to tell me, you know, like, I just appreciate people that just are honest, you know?
Me too.
You know, just be honest, you know? Even when you are making yourself vulnerable in certain situations and stuff like that. You know, or you're like, you know what, I know I did this, but I don't care. I just need you to listen. You know what I mean? That's amazing to me, because at the end of the day, we're human. No one's perfect.
I just said that to her.
You know? Yeah, right?
I was like, I gotta tell you something.
Oh, yeah. She's like, What you people
You're
have
not
to
gonna
tell
like
me.
it. This is You're not gonna like it, so
she gave me the
I gave you a little disclosure.
Disclosure.
You ain't gonna like it, Shy.
You're not gonna like it, but I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to listen. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do her that because sometimes I talk more than I listen.
We all do, right?
No, I don't know about we all.
Well, I do.
No, I do.
Sometimes we wanna. Sometimes we. Yeah, you're right. We might not all do.
No.
There's people that really do listen. Yeah.
I don't think that you know. I do that a lot more than you do.
Do you? I feel like I try to.
No, you are very good at listening, and I noticed that.
Thank you. I don't feel like I.
But I don't.
I
but
feel
I
like I need to work on it more.
Yeah, no, I acknowledge that. I absolutely do. I have to work on my patience, and I have to work on my listening. Period.
Well, we're not perfect.
Yeah, we're not. You know, I would love to be, but you know, at least I acknowledge that's my fault. You know what I mean? You know, but what I won't change is how vocal I am. Because that's how I feel.
I love how vocal
you don't like it? That's your problem.
That's actually one of your greatest attributes for me personally. Because at least that you're being authentic.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you're being vocal.
Yeah, and I like authentically would want from somebody to say, you know what, Shaika, I don't like you. I don't like your vibe. I don't like your energy. But you know what? I respect it. You can stay over there and I can stay over here. That's what I like. But you know, it's just like people, a lot of times people don't tell me how they feel. I feel it. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool because at the end of the day, I've come to such a point in my life where I really don't care anymore. I'll think about it and I'm like, push it right out. It comes in my thought process and it swoops right on out.
But that's what we need. Like, I think that we as women especially, we take things so personal. Like, if someone doesn't like us, I definitely have come to that in my life as well.
A lot of us are thinking that way. And a lot of times you think that you don't care, but you care. You know what I mean?
You do. And that where you are is a good place because I'm in that place too. Like, obviously sometimes you go back a step.
Yes.
Because you're human.
Yes.
But then you're like, no, like, okay, they don't like me. But I'm aware that, like I've said plenty of times, like I said before, people are just not gonna like you.
Exactly. And it's okay, you know, it's okay. It's absolutely okay because just because that person doesn't like you doesn't mean that you're less of a person.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just because and acknowledge that you yourself don't like people. So how are you gonna sit there and be mad at the person not liking you when you yourself don't like certain people?
Yeah.
But then again too, pay attention to why is it that you don't like certain aspects of people, because a lot of times when we see that in other people is because we ourselves have that aspect within ourselves. That's just my opinion to a certain extent, you know what I mean? But like, or we have been there before, like you had mentioned earlier, like, you know what, I knew I could say this because I've been there, you know what I mean? Not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time, you know? And even for me myself, I think, I don't know if I even mentioned this before, but there was somebody that was doing something to me or whatever, and I didn't really like doing or saying things, and just the way the person was, I would just mention how the person is. And I remember my sister saying like, well, you say all these things about this person, but you act like that too. And I was just like, and I couldn't even be mad. I'm like, you know what? I just was like, she caught me real good with that one. I was just like, and I was like, wow, like that's what made me start to realize, like, wow, like I really had all these things to say, and lo and behold, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's good that she caught you, like she put you in.
Because had she not said that, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today. To say to realize, like, you know what, Shaika, you sense that in that person. That's why you could say it.
Exactly.
Because you have aspects within yourself that are like that too. So really look at yourself.
Exactly.
Look at yourself. Instead of being real quick to judge and point the finger, look at yourself. And that's what that taught me. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Because there's so much people that have a lot to say. Like they have just people in general have a lot to say about other people. But like, you got to look at yourself. You have to look at yourself. You have to. It serves you so much better and good, in my opinion, if you just look at yourself.
And you gotta look at yourself, and you gotta like
be
honest, but you gotta love yourself. Like, I think that loving yourself will help with insecurities and not looking for that validation from others. Once you love yourself, you will be your validation. Right.
And and then you should also tackle the reason why you feel like you're not worthy, or you're not, or why you need to get validation from other people so much.
Exactly. But I think a lot of times that we seek validation from others because we don't love ourselves the way we should. Because these women that put these pictures of them with their butt out or their breast out or this or that, they're insecure and they're not completely loving themselves the way they should.
Yeah.
You know?
And some people that don't even do that. But there's almost like the negative energy gets a hold of you. It wraps you up and it keeps you entwined, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because it's like...
Because I've been there where I really had gained weight and I was just like... It was almost like a cycle. Like, I was just spinning out of control. And then my son might have said, like, Mommy, if you're not happy, then why aren't you doing something about it? And I wasn't. I wasn't doing anything about it. You know what I mean? I think you really get caught like in a dark place. Like,
it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like, you know, and it's just a lot. It's just so crazy how much like the pain and the hurt it festers so much that it goes so deep. And sometimes people mask so good at masking it and not showing who they're truly selves. Maybe also limited people are going to see that, but not a lot of people see it.
No, and we mask ourselves and then we try to heal others.
Yes.
There's been times where I've been extremely hurt, but try to help other people.
No, you got to help yourself. If your glass is not full, how are you going to be able to help somebody else?
Exactly.
I can't.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you so much, as always.
Yeah. Leave us ideas for topics.
Yes, ideas are welcome. Constructive feedback and criticism is always welcome as well. Thank you so much, as always.
So remember to love yourself, to appreciate yourself. That comes from within, so you don't need to look outward for that.
Yes.
Validation from another person, and you are all beautiful and wonderfully made.
Yes, we
wonderfully made.
Perfect.
And you're your own unique self. Like, I don't want to look like her, and she don't want to look like me,
no.
and I don't want to look like her, and I don't want to look like her. Not that she's not beautiful, because she's an amazingly beautiful person.
Yes.
But like, I want to look like Christine, and Shy wants to look like Shy. Like.
And there's no mistakes, guys. No mistakes. We are beautifully, wonderfully made in His image. So therefore, there is no mistakes at all. None at all.
None. And we shouldn't have to feel this obligation to fit into what society wants to mold us to be. Like, no. If you want to wear that, wear that. And if that doesn't match, then wear that. And if your butt looks like that, leave it. And like, fine. Like, it's fine.
Yep, you'll be okay. You'll be all right
just
the way you are.
You're perfect.
Amazingly perfect.
Beautiful. You are beautiful. I love you.
I love you too, Christine.
All right, guys.
Peace, love, and blessing, guys.
Bye.
Bye.